Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
And I'm Jordan Morris.
Just the two of us flying together today, Jordan.
Have we ever done this, just you and I?
No, we have not. You and Chomik did one while I was out traveling, I think, for vacation. But it's good to be here with just you this week.
Is it?
Yeah, I like it. It's a different sort of atmosphere and vibe. Maybe you should move in towards me a bit more. I'm looking at this camera.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I think there you go. That's
I just don't want to block the sign too much.
I just block it.
All right. We got to get comfortable.
It's not a good sign anyway. So little Josh Chomik is out this week. He came down with a virus called the NOROVIRus, which I always want to. I want to call it the Ronovirus. I've been calling it the Ronovirus. I don't know. Is that a thing? The Ronovirus?
I don't know. When you guys were texting about it, I'm like, what's Rono?
Did I say Rono?
You said Rono. Yeah. I was thinking Corona because I was like Rona.
Dude,
Rono.
My wife got neurovirus weeks ago, and I kept calling it Ronovirus. I don't know why I want to call it the Ronovirus.
I mean, it sounds cool, but I'm like, I've never heard of that before.
What is Ronovirus? Doesn't exist. Maybe I'm dyslexic.
That could be what it is.
I've been saying Ronovirus to a lot of people.
But Chomik knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, well, maybe Chomik and I are both a little dyslexic, so he probably his brain probably flipped it around back to the right word.
Probably.
But he did want us to give him a call before we do anything this week, so I think we should call Josh Chomik and just see how he's hanging in there. He asked if he could come film with us, and I said, "Are you still contagious? I'm not getting Ronovirus again." And he said, "I think I am contagious, so I'll stay home." So I said, "Thank you," because I don't want to puke my brains out. So it's my fault he's not here with us this week, but let's give him a call and just see what he's up to. Josh Chomik, how you doing, brother?
Boys, I'm so jealous right now.
How's the Ronovirus been treating you?
Is that what it's even called? What is it called again?
The neurovirus.
Neurovirus.
We were just talking about how I keep calling it the Ronovirus. I don't know where that's even from, but it's stuck in my head.
It's like a mix of coronavirus and norovirus.
That's exactly what I said.
Maybe that is what you have, though. Maybe it's a mix of the two.
I just want to say, boys, this was it's like a stomach virus times 10. So it was probably the worst stomach virus I've ever had in my life. Monday and Tuesday, I was just dizzy, throwing up, every single thing, every 10 minutes. I couldn't see. It was just miserable. And today I'm finally starting to eat, and it's just and 5 other people I know have it right now at the same exact time as me. So it's just crazy, how it's going around everywhere right now. So, I don't blame you guys for not wanting me there. Yeah, I'm also really weak.
I said I didn't want you here. Listen, we just went through it, but I've heard stories about people that get it again.
You escaped it though, right?
I didn't get it. Yeah, Shelb had it, and then it was very traumatic to go through. She's pregnant on top of being sick.
Yeah,
and then we have a baby that wants to be on top of her all the time. So it was it was stressful. And then
I know, I can't imagine when you were telling me that, and then I was going through it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what Shelby had, but probably worse.
But you need to bleach everything.
I feel for you guys.
This is the big thing. You need to bleach everything because I heard you can get it again. So just fair warning.
I know, because a day of I was sanitizing everything, but then I was just I told the boys, I was let's just bleach the whole bathroom and everything.
So you're feeling a little bit better today, though.
Those 2 days are just hell, and then I think I'm good now. Hopefully, starting to put fluids in my system and food in my system, and it's so weird being 15 minutes away from you guys right now while you're recording, and I'm home. I feel helpless, and I really miss the pod. I want to shout out everyone listening to the pod. Thank you guys for always listening and supporting us. I'm sad I can't be with the fellas tonight, but I know you guys are going to steer the ship in the right direction, so I have nothing to worry about.
We're steering it in a direction. We'll see if it's the right one by the end of the podcast episode. But
I don't know. Is Jordan a good co-pilot?
Yeah, he's good. He just lets me talk a lot, which is all I really want in a co-pilot.
I mean, it's been 2 minutes since we started, so I guess it's hard to even tell.
Oh, wow. So you guys are bringing me on right away, right off the get.
Yeah, we broke your directions a little bit that you gave us, but that's okay. Josh, I just wanted to touch base, make sure you're doing all right. You're glad you're feeling better, and I'll see you Saturday night at the Wild Card Casino night at the mall at Short Hills.
Everyone's got to wash their hands. That's my word of advice.
Yeah.
If you use a bathroom, wherever you go, wash your hands after, because you never know what you're touching, and then you never know what's going to get you sick. and I don't want anyone going through what I just went through because it sucked.
Yeah.
But
Is this you
you know, I'm
admitting
alive.
that you didn't wash your hands?
No, I'm just saying, like, you just never know. Like, sometimes, like, just by going outside or doing something, you come back in and you don't wash your hands, you might have something on them. I don't know. It's just like an encouragement, you know, to just wash your hands more.
So what's your
And I
method?
know Sobo sometimes runs out of the bathroom pretty quickly, so
When
it's a reminder to
you're
him as
washing
well.
your hands, what's the method you're using? Are you singing happy birthday twice?
Is that the timing?
They
Like
say,
the
yeah, as a
official
kid, they
timing?
said you're supposed to sing happy birthday to yourself 2 times in a row, and then your hands are truly clean. But that just seems excessive. I usually rinse for, not that
I've
long.
never heard of that before. I usually, you know, I scrub a good amount, you know, and I also like to have the water on hot. So it's kind of like a sauna experience or a spa experience, excuse me,
Ooh.
where it's like the hot water on a nice cold wintry day. So your body gets warm while you're washing your hands with some good smelling lavender soap. Ooh,
Whoa.
I could spend a whole minute washing my hands just because it
Josh,
feels so good. You know what I mean?
Is there a 70-year-old woman inside your body right now? Or like, have you considered if you're an old soul of a sensitive woman?
It could be an effect of the norovirus. I haven't looked that up yet.
You're changing. Oh no.
Could be, man. I don't know. I'm pretty. I'm pretty chill right now.
The
I'm
sawing
pretty
off your
relaxed.
hands with lavender soap is very un-Josh Chomick. I've never heard you speak like that before.
Super
But hey,
poetic.
listen,
Wait,
if that's
what?
what you're into now, like that's okay.
I love a good soap. I love a good scented soap for my hands and my body.
And your body. Well, okay. So here's what I'm going to say. We're going to pause. We're going to park it there. We're not going to go any further down that rabbit hole. But we're glad you're feeling better, Josh.
Yeah.
If you start to puke again, call us back. Let us know. We want an update. But otherwise, we'll see you on Saturday. Get some rest, brother.
Can't wait to see you guys with the animals. Have a good night, fellas, and have fun.
All right. Later.
So yeah.
We actually got to hang out with Josh this weekend. It's worth noting. We just a little weekend recap before we get into the mailbag. We got to go to a Devils game together
Yeah. Saturday night.
and we hung out with the New Jersey Devil himself, the mascot,
And more importantly,
and Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
he's a very interesting guy.
I'm a big Frank the Tank lover, but he was very unhappy with the Devils game. He was freaking out.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean, it wasn't the best game, but
He was unhappy, yeah. But I will say, so Jordan, can I just say outright the kind of the background here?
sure.
You kind of know the mascot for the Devils through social media connections.
Yeah, I mean, I connected with him a couple years ago. We worked together, but I mean, the way I connected with him this time was, through somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But when we both hopped on a call together, we are both like, okay, we definitely worked together because I wasn't sure if he was the mascot or not. But we hopped on the call and I'm like, I'm pretty sure, I've worked with you before. He's like, yeah, I remember you.
So you heard his voice.
Well, it was a video call, and I saw him. I'm like, wait. I'm like, I know. I definitely, worked with you a couple years back.
For him to use his voice? Do you think he has to really think to himself, when can I use my voice? When am I not the devil? When am I the devil?
I don't know.
Do you think it messes with him to have to put on the persona of the devil?
I don't know. I mean, it's like a playful devil though. It's
That's
like,
true. That's true. Kind of like a Looney Tunes devil.
Yeah, he's not going around doing evil things to people.
Yeah.
But
He did smash a guitar.
He did.
Yeah, which was a
kinda
little evil.
I imagine it is hard, like not being able to talk though.
Well,
while
especially
you're-
when drunk people do stuff, like they probably can smack
yeah,
you.
like
or,
you just
touch
have to use your hands and stuff to communicate with people. So I imagine that is a little bit of a weird experience.
I will say, the Devils game was the most enjoyable sports experience I've had in years.
Yeah.
It took me 18 minutes to get home from the game, which was insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
The stadium is clean. People are nice. The food was great. And I mean, we had our own little spot to sit in, which was cool.
Yeah, that made it extra nice.
I don't know what you'd even call
got
that
space.
section. We were in our
It was
own
a
little-
handicap section.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
We had our own handicap section, which was killer. We were those people, I guess. We didn't have the handicap placard, but we were sitting there.
No, we took the big spot and it was nice.
It was for my daughter. She was running around like crazy. But it was so much fun getting to a Devils game, man. It was really such a fun sporting experience, and I want to get back. I want to get back before the playoffs. How many
Yeah.
more games do we have before the playoffs?
I don't know exactly. Maybe like 20, less than 20 maybe.
Okay. less than 20.
But I mean, playoff hockey is like a totally different breed too. So I'm like, that would be fun to get out to a playoff game, especially if they're, playing against a good rival or something.
Definitely. And they're looking good. It's looking like they're going to be playoff contenders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, high mid, I would say they are.
High
right now.
mid, okay.
High mid.
I like that. I want to go see more games. Oh, and the other recap moment that we had here, I should have kept Chomik on the phone. Chomik wrote a note for me. Chomik's middle school English teacher was arrested this week for possessing corn.
Child corn.
Child
Specifically.
corn, as the Gen Zers would say. So let's call him back and see what he has to say about this.
That's kind of insane.
Well, hello.
We forgot to ask you about something.
Sure.
Your middle school English teacher was arrested this week.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't know if you guys want to talk about that or not, but I threw it in the notes.
Well, we read it, and I'm like, I guess he wanted to talk about this. What did you want to say? So he possessed photos that he shouldn't have had, or some sort of media he shouldn't have had. We don't have to say what it was.
How do you know it's a he?
Because
Listen,
I saw the mugshot.
I thought you were just assuming.
Listen, I just want to say, like, we read every week we read stories about like these teachers getting caught in like these child pornography scandals and whatnot. And then I read this article this week and I was like, this dude was my 7th grade English teacher. And it's just like you never expect it to be the teacher that you have. Like, it's just so weird to think about. And this guy has been in the school for like over 25 years. And he also teaches the TV broadcast program. He like runs the TV program. So he must have like photos and videos of like every single kid that passed through that school the past 25 years, including myself. And also, this guy was like the weirdest teacher at the school, like a very just weird dude. He never smiled, very awkward personality. So like when I saw this article, I was shocked, but also not shocked. I was like, this would be the guy. And it was just like very weird. So yeah, he got arrested this week.
Wow. So let me ask you about that. Did you ever get, because you were in 7th grade?
Yeah, 7th.
Did you ever get a weird sort of instinct or vibe from the guy, or nothing like that?
As a 7th grader, you don't think that way. As a 7th grader, it was always a joke. No. Like he was like a weird teacher. Like everyone's like, oh, Sir Reeds doesn't smile. And like if he cracked like 2 smiles throughout the entire school year, it was like a win to get him to smile. Like he was just a very awkward dude. So like he was just a weird teacher, but like people enjoyed having him because he was a nice guy. Like he taught the classes well. But just very odd. But like as a 7th grader, like, like even back then there wasn't many like cases like this either. So it's like it wasn't talked about. But nowadays it's like left and right there's like a story like this. So it's just like, what the heck? And
he taught at Kumpf?
Yeah, and he still teaches at Kumpf till this day until he just, got arrested. So he's been teaching the same class for like 25 years.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it makes you wonder how many predators are let into spaces around children.
Yeah,
and they're just slick enough to get in, and they're predatory, and kind of freaky, man. And I'm glad they got him, but it's a shame he got to get away with it for so long.
I know. Well, hopefully it wasn't ongoing for that long, but we have no idea. But it probably was. It was just it's weird, very weird to read a story about a guy that taught you for an entire school year. Back in the day, and now it's just like coming to light now. It's like, what? Like I never expected to read a story like that. So I just want to share that on the pod. You just never know. You just never know nowadays. And like to be a teacher, I guess like he's been a teacher for this many, like 20 plus years. So like, do you think they conduct like background checks on teachers like every few years? Or if a teacher's been there that long, you think they're just in the clear?
It's a good question. We'd have to ask. I think the 10-year part makes it harder to, like, what are you going to background check a 10-year teacher?
Exactly. Yeah. These teachers are so protected. So like maybe he thought he was in a comfortable spot where he could get away with it. So, and who knows what he even was doing. So it's just very weird, bro.
I say life in prison is what he should be doing.
I mean, make an example of all these creeps, bro. Like it's happening way too often. And I feel like these people just get away with it too easily. It's like, what?
We'll see what happens and we'll keep covering it. But all right. I just want to get the kind of update from you. We'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for calling back, or answering my call, I should say.
All right, have a good one.
All right, so that's the update there. Is Josh Chomik's teacher from middle school was not a good person to be around. All right, why don't we dive into the mailbag here? We have 3 different calls I want to get to. Jordan, usually I would ask Josh Chomik this question. If people want to call into the mailbag, what is the number they can call?
Right here.
908 67 99 99 3.
What's up, Garden State? It's Domino's Marty from North Jersey calling back. I just wanted to answer some of the questions from last week's episode. So first off, Domino's is one of those franchise stores where, as a franchisee, you get full ownership of the stores. You just got to pay royalties to the company yearly because they do ads for you, and then, yeah. But you're also allowed to do your own specific local ads, which I know you guys were asking. That being said, although you sell all the same products as other locations, just like any other franchise, there's good locations and bad locations. And listen, man, we pride ourselves on being a good location, high quality. We've gotten 5-star ratings from Domino's Inspections multiple times, which is from the actual company. And we're up there in the rankings among like the other stores in the New York area. So speaking of that, Josh Sobo, you were asking about the Rolex challenge last week. And yes, when I was younger, my dad did win the Rolex challenge. But at the time, he was a GM actually in the Nutley store, so he wasn't a franchisee yet. And it's not necessarily just for franchisees. It's for franchisees and for general managers. So basically the way it works is that it's either you take the Rolex or you take the cash equivalent of whatever like the Rolex was worth at the time. So obviously my dad was a family man at the time, or he's still a family man, but you know, being a family man, he was like, I'll just take the cash. You know, he could use it for the family, so like why not? And he was like, yeah, I don't need a flashy watch. So I didn't know about this because I was young, and now like when I was older a little bit more, like he told me about the Domino's challenge. I'm like, you're telling me you took the cash instead of an appreciating Rolex, a Rolex that appreciates in value. That like I don't know how much it was worth at the time, maybe a couple thousand, but now like it's like going for like 16 to 20K, like you guys are saying. So he was like, no regrets. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, we'd love for you guys to come visit us after March 3rd specifically because Domino's has a new item dropping. It's a secret right now, but we'd love for you guys to try it with us for the first time. As well, we could also like have you guys try some of the popular combinations that myself and like my friends working in the store we do as well. And yeah, we could definitely try to do like some local ads if possible if that's what you guys are interested in. And yeah, so you guys have my number in the mailbag. And yeah, last thing, just I love the podcast, guys. I've been listening since 2022. I've listened to every single episode because I'm an architecture student at NJIT, and your podcast is like my favorite thing to listen to when working on projects. So looking forward to hearing back from you guys. Thanks again. Love the podcast. Bye.
Wow. Thank you again for calling Marty. I should call him Domino's Marty.
Yeah.
From Nutley, New Jersey. I don't know if he's from Nutley, but they own a Domino's in Nutley. For the listeners, if maybe you missed last week's episode, Marty's parents own a Domino's, and I asked him if his dad got the Domino's Rolex, which you get if you have a really good sales period. So I guess his dad turned down the Rollie. He took the cash prize.
That's brutal.
Which is messed up. I mean, the watch is probably worth, if this is 20 years ago, I was thinking in my head, $5,500, let's say.
Yeah.
And now maybe you get 15 grand for it. But inflation, you know, if you invested $5,000, let's be nerdy for a second. $5,000 you invested in the market 20 years ago, 20 years later, you made that money way back.
Yeah.
Way more than I think a Rolex would have appreciated.
Probably.
20 years, the last 20 years of the stock market, I think you'd be up like, I don't know. You want to find out?
Depends on, what you invested in, I guess. But I got to say, he's a fantastic Domino's salesman because I've never been to Domino's before, but hearing him call every single week, I'm like, I kind of want to go try it now.
I agree completely. So really quick, just to make him feel a bit better, I don't know what his dad did with money. Maybe he invested it. The S&P 500, 2005, let's say this was 20 years ago, was $1,993. Do you know what it's at now?
A lot.
$6,000. This is November of last year. $6,000. So it's gone up a little over 3 times. So if it was a $5,000 watch, yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So it all works out in the end, is what I'm saying, Marty. Don't be so hard on your pops. He was taking care of his family.
Yeah,
maybe he invested the money in retirement. Maybe he paid off the mortgage. Who knows? Worth it, though. Although that Rolex would be sweet. All right, let's get to another call here.
Hey guys, it's your buddy Brendan. I was just listening to the pod on my way to work, and I just had a few things from last week's pod. First off, in Severance, it's Bell Works, I believe they call it now. It used to be Bell Labs when it was private, and now it's Bell Works. And you guys should definitely go check it out. They have all kinds of stuff in there. There's like ice cream places to eat. There's even like a bar that's open on the weekends at night, and there's like an outdoor deck. There's all kinds of activities going on there. I've seen a lot of people have been going there lately on TikTok and stuff, like making a road trip there because they saw it on the show. And then the other thing is Josh was saying how the Wolfpack Inn is closing. It's actually right up next to the tree farm, and we go all the time. And they've been saying they've been closing for years now. I feel like it's switched owners or switched management, and they've been saying they're going to close. I don't know if they're going to close or when, but it is a great spot, and you could make like a whole day trip out of it. You go get a tree from the farm, and then you go there for a dinner in December, and you see the deer and all the wildlife outside. And then I don't know if you guys have ever talked about it on the podcast or if I've ever mentioned it, but the town of Wolfpack is actually some like cool history if you guys want to dig into it. I know around like the 70s they were going to build a dam there to dam up like a part of the Delaware River, and they made like this whole town and everything there, and then the project basically fell through, so it became like abandoned, and then the state bought up all the land. I'm not 100% certain on the history, but if you guys want to look it up, I know it's like definitely an interesting thing that went on there. So loving the pod lately. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Brendan. A few things there. So the one thing I wanted to call out is there is a Bell Labs in Murray Hill near Watchung, Summit, New Providence, that whole area.
Yeah.
And that's now Nokia Bell Labs, but it started as Bell Labs. This has always confused me. Because there's the other Bell building down where they're filming Severance. So I think the Bell Labs up north was purchased by AT&T, and now I guess Nokia owns it. But I think a lot of major developments took place in the Bell Labs building in Murray Hill. I don't know. We have to dig into the history of the two buildings because it's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah.
But on his other point about the Wolfpack Inn, that was one of the first stories in this podcast that we ever talked about. We actually started this podcast not talking just about news, but about cool New Jersey stuff. We talked about Wolfpack, New Jersey, and how the federal government eminent domained farms from people, generational farms. Did you ever hear about this?
No.
So in the 50s, the federal government wanted to, I believe it was the 50s, they wanted to build a dam, the first dam on the Delaware River. And they wanted to turn this entire Wolfpack Valley, you can see in this photo here, into a massive reservoir. Then, so what they do is they buy all these people's houses, like generational farms, like your great grandfather started it. People are upset, but the government does what it wants to do. Take the land. Then they begin drilling core samples of the earth. So they're drilling these massive these drill bits that pull out core samples to see the rock. And you can still go see them today because if you could imagine a cylinder that's like 5 feet across, that's made of pure whatever slate or whatever stone it is in the earth up there. And they're pulling them out and they realize the depth of the stone or whatever the stone is not proper for the architectural needs to build the dam. So they took all this land from people and then they realized they can't dam the Delaware and now it's just abandoned.
Really?
Yeah, you should go up and
they don't like give it back or something or
allow
people to
if
buy
you go
it back?
up, it's the town of Wolfpack is kind of creepy. It's like there's a post office. It's all abandoned though. It's like
That's crazy.
It's like a horror story. Like it's really sad. But the Wolfpack Inn, I guess, hasn't sold yet. It's up for sale. We should buy it.
Imagine that.
It'd be a good time.
That would be a good investment. But
so
speaking of Severance, I just started watching it.
Oh, really?
I finished season 1
What'd you
last
think?
night. It's insane.
Okay, so I got Chomick into it. I got you into it.
It's so good. I'm like, I love shows like that because it's just such an original idea that I've never heard a story like that. So I'm like, it drew me in immediately. I'm just like, what is going on?
I felt like season 1 was one of the best seasons of TV I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not just the story. I'm like the way it's shot, like the colors, everything about it is just like so, like just creepy, but also like beautiful.
It's kind of dystopian feeling. This is the one thing that there's something uneasy about it, and you can't place. I said this the first time we talked about it. You can't place the time period of the show. The cars are weird.
Yeah, it's like they have like a mixture of
the 90s or the 70s or the early 2000s or when is it supposed to be?
But they have cell phones, right?
Yeah, but they're not like normal cell phones. It's weird. That's what I mean. Like,
because that is true. Where it's like some of the stuff they're using or driving, we're like, this seems like it's like in the 60s, and then other times you're like, oh, wait, is this like supposed to be taking place right now?
I think it's supposed to be current day, but I think whoever's directing it, I should say, probably is purposely making it feel a bit uneasy, like it's some sort of a dystopian.
Ben Stiller, did you know he's the director?
Oh, that's right. You're right, Ben Stiller. Yeah,
Which is so random. Like,
it's kind of weird. All right, one more mailbag and let's do the news.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Shree. Just wanted to call in and say, y'all have a great podcast. Listen to it every week. I'm from Central Jersey originally, but I've lived overseas for almost 10 years now. And it's always good to hear what's going on back home. So really appreciate what y'all are doing. And shout out to the Rainforest Cafe from last week's episode. I remember when that thing opened back in the late 90s and still remember that musty smell when you're walking past there. And my barbershop was just across over at Menlo Mall. So thanks again, guys. Really appreciate what you're doing.
Hey, thanks for that call. You know, I remember the barbershop he's talking about.
really?
Yeah, and also the smell of the Rainforest Cafe, a special smell.
It does have a very distinct smell to it.
kind of like a dehumidifier,
Is it because they have like
rubbery dehumidifier.
Is it because they have like fog going?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's got to be.
Then the animals, and then I remember across from the Rainforest Cafe, the Starberry store. Do you remember that?
What was that?
There's a basketball player. You don't remember Starberries?
I would probably know it if I saw it. They sold like sports supplies or something.
Stefan Marbury created a brand called Starberries, and they sold like $20 shoes. Mm-hmm. And maybe you were just like, you don't remember these shoes? Everybody had these.
Yes.
It's like everybody had them in like 2004.
Yeah, I was gonna say like early middle school,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
late elementary school. I do remember that logo.
Everybody had Starberries, and they were like $20 shoes, and the store was across from Rainforest Cafe. So that's the story, and that's the mailbag for the week. So should we talk about the news, Jordan?
I think that would be appropriate. Good idea.
Do you have any hesitation before we get into the news? Anything you want to talk about?
No, I think we hit everything.
All right, then let's do it. So this first story is an interesting one, man. It's a very interesting one. A 3-time New Jersey high school state wrestling champion was arrested alongside his father this week after a wild brawl in the stands. Did you hear about this?
I heard about it vaguely, but I'm like, that sounds appropriate to happen at a wrestling match.
Yeah, they're wrestling in the stands.
It spreads over to the stands. Like you get so pumped. It's like,
you're right. It's kind of like it's happening there. It's not a problem. It's happening here. It becomes a problem. Like it's just that the distance of 20 feet makes this good or bad.
Makes it legal versus illegal.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
I don't know. Like you have a ref and it's legal. You don't have a ref and it's like,
yeah. I mean, like I don't know. If you play baseball in the parking lot of the baseball stadium, nobody's going to jail.
Yeah.
You start punching a guy in the stands, though, everybody has a fit.
It is funny because I think about it with hockey too, where it's like, you could fight someone during the game, but if those same players, step off the rink and start fighting, it's like all of a sudden the police get involved. It's like
interesting. This is a crazy story. I saw an interview with the boy, and it seems like it's a muddy sort of situation. And I don't know. I'm seeing both sides. I'm seeing some people say that this is unjust, and the boy and his father didn't provoke it. Others provoked it, and then they just got involved. Anthony Knox Jr., a 3-time New Jersey high school state wrestling champion and number 1 ranked 126-pound wrestler in the U.S., was disqualified from competing for his 4th straight state title after getting involved in a brawl that ended with him and his dad arrested. The incident happened at the NJ District 25 wrestling tournament at Collingswood High School, and Knox is accused of sprinting into the stands where the brawl began between his father, Anthony Knox Sr., and fans watching the tournament. So videos appearing online showed the fight breaking out and working its way down the bleachers. It was like the wave.
Yeah, imagine that. Just spreading.
When the dust settled, Jersey Sports Zone reported that both Knox Sr. and Knox Jr. were detained by police after the brawl, which occurred after the 190-pound final. So this came after Knox had won his latest 126-pound district title. The New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association released a statement on the matter after reviewing multiple video angles of the brawl, during which Knox Jr. ran from the gym floor into the bleachers to join the fight. Knox Jr., a Cornell commit, I wonder if that's going to mess with his college
I really
prospects.
hope not, but it probably would.
So Knox Jr., a Cornell commit, is top ranked is the top ranked 126 pound wrestler in the United States with a career of 136 wins and 1 loss. That's a crazy record.
That is insane. Who's the one guy?
I don't know. I'd like to meet him. So he won't get a chance for his 4th straight state title because he is barred from participating in the state championships in Atlantic City. So earlier today, I informed the school administration that the student athlete wrestling in the 126 pound weight class has been disqualified from the NJSIAA wrestling state tournament. That was the executive director, Colleen McGuire. She said that to Fox News Digital. So the disqualification was the result of my investigation into an incident that occurred on Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. At the district tournament hosted at Collingswood High School, I have determined that the disqualified student athlete violated both the association's sportsmanship policy and its disqualification rule for leaving the bench area during an altercation. Knox Jr. released a statement on Instagram. He said, as many of you know, I've been disqualified from my next 2 matches due to an unfortunate incident that occurred in the stands at Collingswood High School well after I'd finished competing at the district tournament. Like anyone, my only concern at that time was protecting the safety of my family. While I respect the NJSIAA's decision, my family and I are currently reviewing our options to determine the best course of action moving forward. I am disappointed in the outcome, but remain happy and grateful for the opportunities I've had. He goes on to say a few more things, but that's kind of the gist.
I mean, I think I kind of understand, like, they don't want wrestlers, getting involved and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, regardless of whether his dad started the fight or was defending himself, if you see your dad in a fight, like, you're going to get involved.
Yeah, if I see someone beating on my dad, I'm hopping in.
Like, you're gonna.
I'm not saying his dad was getting beat. His dad may have been winning the fight. I don't know. If I see my dad in a brawl,
you're getting involved.
I'm getting involved.
You're not going to take time to ask, like, oh, dad, did you start this? Or did they, they started? It's like, you see your dad in a fight.
Dad. Yeah.
You're going to, you're going to jump in, especially someone like him who's like, he's a wrestler. Like, that's what he does. So I totally understand why he would do that. I think it's unfair.
Yeah. I mean, we need rules around parents at sporting events.
Yeah. Parents get too into it sometimes, where you're just like,
this happened recently, just a year ago out in Phillipsburg. There's a brawl at a kids wrestling meet with parents on the mats. And it's like you have emotionally unstable adults that can't handle watching their kids compete. And as a result, they commit crimes. They beat each other up. They scream at each other. They curse each other out. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, are you really raising these kids to be productive members of society if you guys can't handle, none of you can handle your emotions?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your kid might have a great career wherever. I'm not talking specifically about this kid in the article. It could be any kid. They may have a great career wherever as an athlete, but at the end of the day, you got to be productive members of society that don't freaking fight, get in a fist fight every time things don't go their way.
Yeah.
So...
No, it's true. I mean, this just seems like a really unfortunate situation. And I think it's just like, I don't know if it's a case-by-case thing that they do with banning people for something like that. Because I understand if, like, somebody's talking trash or something in the stands and then you just leave the bench to go fight them. But I think in a situation like this where it's like, it's your dad, like, you're gonna do something.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, it's very... very interesting moral question there.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation? Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Sounds like he's still going to Cornell, so good for him. Cornell's Ivy, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he's going to be an Ivy League wrestler. Pretty cool. Yeah, I guess that's the story. If you guys want to see more about that, there's tons of videos online. There's interviews with him. I'm curious what do you guys think? Any parents that could call into the mailbag that you've gotten in a fight at your kid's sporting event? I get it. Now that I have a kid, especially, you see your kid losing, and it upsets you because you want them to win more than they want to win. Like, you just want to be a part of the whole thing, and maybe it's upsetting, but also you can't. You just got to control yourself.
I think a lot of times what sets people off is bad reffing. Where it's like you see, because it's even happened with, like, with my parents, where, they get a little emotionally involved in a game when they see one of their kids, somebody takes a cheap shot at you and the ref doesn't call it or something. It's like, all right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next story here, Jordan. Let's keep it moving. This is out of Tinton Falls. Tinton Falls, New Jersey Mayor Vito Perillo has died at the age of 100. Wow.
It's quite the milestone.
100 years old. Vito Perillo, the mayor
And he
of
was
Tinton
still
Falls
mayor, yeah.
in Monmouth County, New Jersey, has died at age 100. Here's a quote. It says, "It is with deep sadness that we announce the passing of our mayor, Vito Perillo, a man of integrity and beloved member of our community." That was the Tinton Falls Borough Administrator. They said that in a statement. So, deeply saddened by the passing of our nation's oldest mayor, Vito Perillo, at the age of 100. As a World War II veteran and mayor of Tinton Falls, Vito leaves behind an incredible legacy of service. Our hearts go out to his loved ones and the entire Tinton Falls community, Governor Phil Murphy wrote in a social media post. So funeral arrangements have not yet been announced, but in 2017, Perillo was elected the mayor of Tinton Falls at the age of 93.
That's incredible.
Defeating the incumbent mayor, Gerald Turning, by 300 votes. Prior to his election, he had been working as an accountant. So this guy's, he was amazing.
Yeah, he just kept going.
At the time, he told CBS News New York's Cindy Hugh he was inspired to run after seeing neighbors struggle with rising tax rates. He thought, I got to do something about it. He was elected to a second term in 2021 when he was 97 years old. For the past 8 years, he served, always striding to do what was right for the people he represented. So Perillo served in the Navy during World War II alongside his brother and later worked as an electronics engineer. Man, what a story. And honestly, this makes me happy because I'm one of those people that I don't ever want to retire.
Yeah, I think about that too because I'm like, I'll just be bored all day.
Yeah, I would be bored. I want to get a new job. I want to go be 97 and be the mayor.
Yeah, like he was 93, it said, right, when he first...
93.
You're just like, all right, I'm going to go run for mayor.
What a story. The oldest mayor in America, though. And it's kind of a cool conversation to think about because, you know, age in politics, a lot of people have negative things to say. Like our politicians are all getting older and we need younger people. And I get that. But also, shout out to Vito for feeling he needed to make a difference at the age of 93 and 97 when he ran for re-election. And it's a message to the people at home that think they can't contribute or make the world better. If a World War II veteran who is 93 years old could run and win mayorship, you can make a difference.
Yeah.
And so we want to salute this amazing veteran, thank him for his service. This legacy is amazing, although he's not here to receive that thank you from us. Vito will be remembered as an absolute local legend, not just a local legend, an American hero, an American legend.
World War II veteran. Those guys are probably the coolest people to ever live, I feel like, the World War II veterans.
The greatest generation.
They're right up there.
I mean,
they were all just like, you know, the hardest working, bravest people.
Well,
Like,
they built the middle class. I think the thing with World War II is it's one war that because of the movies and everything, it's a very kind of clear-cut story in American culture, World War II.
Yeah.
And then what happened as a result of it is all those guys came back and they built the middle class. Like this new thing exists where they all get houses around these suburban little towns in New Jersey that we all live in. And it's amazing to think about. It's amazing to think. And then it's also amazing to think because most of us I think like, man, most people retire at 60, 65 maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's another, for me, 35 years of work. But to think if I'm 30 right now, 70 years from now, I could still be making an impact on the world.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
More people should think like that.
It is. It's inspiring. You're like, you're never too old to, do something new or make an impact on people.
Keep getting after it. Don't be looking for that beach with a pina colada. It doesn't exist, right? Well, we want to honor his legacy. And, if his family hears this, very grateful for his service.
Yeah.
And to the residents of Tinton Falls, you lost a good one. That's a heartwarming story. Let's keep moving here. We got a few more stories. So 2 truckers were caught on I-78 hauling $36 million worth of marijuana and magic mushrooms.
Magic mushrooms, man. What are they doing?
I don't know. 2 men were arrested after being found hauling $36 million worth of marijuana, cannabis, and mushroom products in a tractor trailer that was pulled over on I-78 in New Jersey last week, authorities announced. New Jersey State Police arrested Fnu Atik Rahman, 22, and Hafez Rahman 35, of Stockton, California, while inspecting the truck, police said. Investigators found 20,117 pounds of raw hydroponic marijuana, various cannabis THC products, and psilocybin items in the truck, police said. The discovery was made by the Mobile Safe Freight Unit, a division of the state police that investigates commercial vehicles suspected of being used for criminal activities. Troopers inspected the truck on February 18th near milepost 6.3 in Greenwich Township, Warren County. Atik Rahman was driving at the time, police said. During the inspection, troopers performed a load securement check, asking to examine how the trailer's doors were sealed. Police wrote in an affidavit of probable cause. After opening the doors, police smelled marijuana and began searching the tractor trailer. Police said in their report, the men owned the company and the tractor trailer used for the transport of the contraband. They told the investigators they collected the cargo from City of Industry area of Los Angeles County, California, and were bound for Sayreville, Middlesex County, police said. So both men were taken into the Warren County Jail. Sorry, soundboard's not working. And they were charged with possession with intent to distribute marijuana and psilocybin mushrooms. So, not going to lie, guys, that ain't good. 20,000 pounds in a truck. I don't know what to tell you.
That's an insane amount. There's $36 million worth.
That's insane. That's like absolutely crazy. What are you doing?
And like, how long do you go to jail for that? Like, that is 20,000 pounds.
In New Jersey, probably a week. You're like, 20,000. If it was 40,000, maybe we'd put you in jail. But
that's just like, that is an insane amount of product.
And it's like, you think about, it's because it's like a plant. Think about 20,000 pounds of broccoli.
Yeah, like
it's a lot of broccoli.
It's gonna be the entire tractor trailer,
like
except for like the back.
It's like I can't even imagine what that would look like.
Yeah,
20,000 pounds of broccoli. You know, like I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but that's crazy. And then mushrooms. So broccoli and mushrooms. You know, it's like that's a crazy situation, man.
I would love to know how they spotted the truck. They said they have like a specific team that spots trucks that are suspected of criminal activities. Like, is it a stolen truck or
Mobile Safe Freight Unit, a division of the state police that investigates commercial vehicles suspected of being used for criminal activity? I'm sure there's ways. Yeah, because
I was assuming they just pulled it over for speeding or something, or they probably avoid the weight checks or something. That's
something.
But that is a crazy amount of product.
That's pretty insane. All right, let's keep moving on here. So this is out of Edison, New Jersey. Guys, the news is always hilarious in New Jersey. Edison, New Jersey is trying to fine those who plant wild bamboo in their yards $100 per day. You know what? I'm going to say it. I think this is a good idea.
Do you? Why? You don't like bamboo?
Bamboo doesn't stop.
What do you mean?
So if I plant bamboo in my yard next to your fence, it's going to grow into your yard, and there's like no way to stop it. It's like impossible. You can't uproot it.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's super annoying. You never heard about this?
No.
Like, that's why you see yards with bamboo everywhere. Like, you ever see a yard with bamboo everywhere? And you're just like, oh, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, they plant it in one spot and it just spreads. It's like
I didn't know you couldn't, like, get rid of it, though.
I think it's very hard to get rid of because it's and then it's a super strong plant that grows because it's wood. And I think it just destroys stuff. So
it is cool looking, though. So I think you should get a pass for it.
Yeah, bamboo is pretty cool looking. I agree. It says the township council will hear an ordinance to ban the growing of bamboo on private property. The ordinance will be introduced at the council meeting on Wednesday and will be up for public hearing and adoption on Wednesday, March 12th. Planting of bamboo can have a negative impact on the environment by reducing biodiversity and altering wildlife habits. That's what the ordinance says. Invasive bamboo species can have negative impact on residential and commercial properties, affecting landscape and causing damage to structures and infrastructure. That's the part I was talking about. Like bamboo, they used to torture people by growing bamboo under them. Did you know that?
What?
I heard this somewhere. Maybe this isn't real. They'd lay people and have bamboo just grow into their torso.
Just like lay them down.
Like if you laid flat on your stomach and they would just put a plant under you.
What?
Because it's bamboo.
And they just like feed you to keep you alive while you're just like stuck laying down.
I think it would just go through people.
What the heck?
Let me look that up. Maybe someone lied to me about that.
That sounds like an insane way to torture someone.
Bamboo torture is a form of torture and execution where bamboo shoot grows through a victim's body.
What?
It was reportedly used in East and Southeast Asian countries, such as China, India, and Japan. I'd imagine that's a really slow way to kill somebody if you want to get rid of someone. I'm going to plant bamboo under you.
Who comes up with that though? It was
It grows with like spikes out of the top of it.
I want to know who the first person was who came up with the idea. Like,
people used to be crazy, man.
Have a plant grow through them.
So this Wikipedia page is wild. So after World War II, stories circulated of Japanese soldiers inflicting bamboo torture upon Allied prisoners of war. Think about that. Securely tying the victim in place above a young bamboo shoot over several days. The sharp, fast. You guys get it. I'm not going to keep reading. That's the point. You can't get it to stop once it starts.
Jeez, I did not realize that.
Yeah. So according to the ordinance, no resident or property owner would be allowed to cultivate bamboo on their property unless it is grown in a planter or a container not connected to the land. It must be placed within 10 feet of any property line or right in the way to prevent uncontrolled growth and potential property damage. So the township will mail a notice to any resident found to be growing bamboo on their property. Residents will have 45 days to remove the bamboo or face a $100 fine for each day past the 45-day period. Failure to comply can result in a township personnel authorized by the zoning officer to enter the property and remove the bamboo. See, I don't know if bamboo is that easy to remove. That's the thing. So,
yeah, you're saying it's like super hard. They're only giving people.
I think it spreads like wild.
A pretty short window to get rid of it. $100 fine a day is pretty insane too.
That is expensive. I think, I hate annoying government overreach, but
yeah,
the bamboo stuff annoys me also. If my neighbor planted bamboo, I'd be pretty annoyed.
Would you?
Get it off my property.
I don't know.
Maybe I just would lay on top of it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Be like, I'm going to lay on top of it until you get rid of it. And they're like, no. I don't know.
That's your protest.
I'm just protesting. Yeah.
Keep it in the ground.
Do you like bamboo?
I mean, I love the look of it. I didn't realize how annoying it was, though.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where. I think my mom told me that as a kid. I don't know why I know that. It's such a random tidbit. I know a lot about bamboo.
Yeah, you do. But there's something about it that just makes it feel like exotic. It doesn't seem real either when you see it and like you touch it. Like it just feels like plastic.
It just makes me think of pandas.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd want bamboo in my yard, but if you look at a bamboo forest, it is kind of cool.
It is. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
People have it up as like dividers instead of like a fence.
All right. Well, let's move on to the last story and wrap up this pod. Here we go. New Jersey Transit's Portal Bridge is on track for a mid-2026 opening.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. We're looking at just over a year from now, the Portal Bridge will be opening. I saw it the other day.
Did you?
They have the actual bridge just hanging out, parked off on the side.
Wait, like it's fully built and they're just going to put it in place?
Yeah, they're just going to like plop it in place. Oh. At least a part of it. This says, the massive 3 spans of the new Portal Bridge have been lifted in place and are expected to be ready for trains next year, officials said Wednesday. Oh, I guess that piece I saw has been placed already because it wasn't placed last week. It says, we believe the first set of tracks will be open by the middle of 2026. NJ Transit CEO Chris Calori said during a tour of the work site on the banks of the Hackensack River Wednesday. The new bridge replaces a problematic 114-year-old bridge that has frequently been the cause of NJ Transit and Amtrak delays. The bridge carries the crucial Northeast Corridor line over the Hackensack River in Kearney. Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner said the $2.3 billion project is 80% through the major construction phase and is 2/3 through the entire project, both key milestones. The work is now turning to installing tracks, overhead electric power, signals, and other systems on the 2.5-mile approach causeways and 3 arch bridges. So we're almost there.
Yeah, that feels like, it's coming quick.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're nearing the finish line. It says the three 1,200-foot arch bridges were floated to the site between November and February. That's so wild because I saw one being floated there. I didn't even realize they were about to place it. And they were raised into place 50 feet above the river to allow marine traffic to pass. Completion is targeted for 2027. That's kind of funny because the headline said different. Calori credited President Donald Trump for greenlighting the project during his first term after dinner with Governor Phil Murphy and intense lobbying from the New Jersey, New York congressional delegation. So can you imagine being at dinner with Phil Murphy and Donald Trump? Is that what that's saying? Or do you think this guy Calori went to dinner with Murphy?
It sounded like Trump and Murphy were together, right? During his first term after he dinner.
I'd love to ask Phil Murphy about that dinner.
Yeah.
First off, where'd they eat?
Yeah.
Second off,
probably McDonald's.
Yeah, maybe. Here's what I wonder about politicians. They all talk trash about each other, and then they just hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to be at a dinner like that behind closed doors and see how they interact with each other.
Is it all a game?
I think a lot of it is.
Like in person, they're like, "Hey man, how you doing? Long time no see." Like there's no animus. There's no problems.
There's got it. Because, you see those videos of, like, politicians together, like Trump and Obama at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Yeah,
and
they're
like,
they're talking like they're friends. You're like,
they're playing.
You guys
us.
hated each other.
I don't know. Well, it's interesting, and I guess we'll have to see what happens with the Portal Bridge, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have this beautiful new bridge, and hopefully train times move. They're a bit more on time. My train was delayed 40 minutes this morning, right around the same bridge.
It could have been worse.
40-minute delay. I was late to work.
That was pretty bad.
I got to work.
What does it mean that they floated it there, though? Does that mean they brought it in by a boat?
Like a barge. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It was just floating there when I went past. It was because it's like 3 arches.
Yeah.
So good stuff, though. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening this week. We will be back next Friday with more news and information. Jordan, thanks for holding down the ship with me, holding down the fort.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Hopefully, Chomik's not puking his brains out next week.
Yeah, that's our hope and prayer.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the little guy can get over it. If not, we'll have to just do this again. And I'm fine with that. But until then, thank you everybody for listening. And we will see you next Friday. Later. See ya.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.